Okay, good morning, KW South Bay. How's everyone doing today? Fantastic, fantastic. Really appreciate you being here. We have such a phenomenal meeting today. We got three amazing agents that are going to provide you with some insights and value and how to navigate those tough conversations with buyers. Right now, we're seeing with all of the ins and outs of rates, properties with multiple offers. We're going to get three amazing agents here giving you their perspective and what they're seeing as well. So, you guys all ready? Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Please make sure to silence your phones. Please silence your phones, okay? Out of respect for one another. If your phone rings, you will contribute $25 to KW Shares, okay? And I have a little basket here, okay? So make sure out of respect for each and every one of you. All right, let's continue. All right, our mission, our beliefs, and our vision to provide agents with a place where they will be empowered, trained, and motivated to experience growth, wealth, and a legacy that allows them to live their best life possible. Our belief, when the values of your own company align with your own beliefs, you found your professional home. And our vision, to achieve amazing professionals and personal development so that KW South Bay remains the agency of choice. Absolutely. All right, let's continue, please. All right, just a friendly reminder, your support team is here. All of the individuals here are here to support you, so it's just a constant reminder. You're probably dreaming of all of us. Every time you go to bed, you wake up, gosh, can't believe, Simon was in my dream today. Right? Okay, then Natalie. Just kidding. I'm just trying to be funny. All right. It is Thursday. It is Thursday. So, all right, let's continue. Next slide, please. All right, we want to welcome our newest agents to the office. Where are my new agents here? Where is that? There he is. All right, so we have Kimmy, Chelsea, and Tori. I think we already pronounced you last time, but stand up real quick and just share who you. Yes, sir. Yeah, tell us a little bit about you and also where you retired from.
Named Eric Wright, retired from LA County Fire Department. Actually got my life in 2006, experienced a big downturn, so I decided to drop out. I'm retired and getting back in.
Beautiful. Thank you for your service, LA County Fire Department. Amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, he still looks like a young man. You don't look retired yet. I hear you. I feel the same way too. All right, just a quick announcement on Keller Williams has partnered up with Zillow. All right, there's a lot of speculations, questions, more to come. All right, I'm not going to be here spending 30 minutes just going through it, but Gary has decided to partner up with Zillow. And the cool thing is the opportunities that you're going to be able to generate from now the partnership we have with Zillow. So more information to come. Stay tuned. Let's continue. Next slide. All right, it's that time again. Sammy was supposed to spearhead today, but she says, Simon, I have an appointment. It just got pivoted. Hey, who is me to tell her not to go on a listing appointment? So as most of you know, last year we were the champions. We are the champions. We are the champions. Oh, Natalie, stop, okay? She's laughing at me. Okay, I never claimed that I was a singer, but I'm doing my very best. Come on, guys. We are the champions. Guys need a cheer. But ultimately, yes, last year we won King of the Hill. Okay. And this was our first time winning. If you look at this little plaque here, a lot of the other brokerages ended up winning. So I want to go back and win it again, back to back. All right, so we're looking up for signups. We're looking for females. We're low on females right now. So if you're interested in playing and being part of this, then please let the office know so that way we can put you on there. Now, part of the prerequisite, if you want to participate and play in the King of the Hill, you also have to practice. You cannot just think you're going to go to the competition and just play. No, you have to put the time, effort, and energy. Okay. So if you're interested, it's again for men and women, but we're definitely in need of females. Let us know. It is June 12th at Ernie's Park up in the PB field. Yes, Natalie. Yes, there's going to be a tryout. Okay, so how many would like to participate this year? We want to bring the trophy back, okay? Because come May, the PV board is going to take this away from us. Yeah, we've had it for almost a year since we went up. Well, we have to win it, so we have to play. Okay, so this is precious to me because throughout the years, we've been so close, but yet so far. So to me, I like to bring it back home again. Okay, so if you're interested in being part of it, please make sure to let us know so we can get you registered for the tryout. Okay. But women, please, ladies, we'd love to have you as well to participate because it has to be a 50-50, okay? Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for us to participate. Any questions? All right, let's continue. All right, let's bring up our breakfast sponsor, Goosehead Insurance, Annie Gabriela and her team.
Hello.
You can take that mic.
This mic?
Yes.
Oh, this is fun. Wow, y'all are fancy. Now I feel like a true influencer right now.
Official. It's official.
I was like, okay, let's go. Annie, you want to lead us off? Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Annie Gabriela. If you didn't hear me earlier, I am Jesus Hernandez Ball's sister. I work for Goosehead Insurance, born and raised in the South Bay. I've been doing insurance for 12 years, and I'm now working under this amazing agency owner, Nick Ramirez. I'll let you take it off here.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick. How you doing? How we doing today? It's Junior Friday. Y'all ready for the weekend? Sell some houses, right? Insurance is the most boring thing you're going to hear today, but that's where it ends because we're about to go right into the most light, tight, and bright presentation you've ever seen about home insurance. And look, I've been in the game for about 10 years. And what if I told you today that the insurance rates across the board for home and auto insurance are going down? How would you feel about that? Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, right? But it's true. It's true. I'll switch spots.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. The rates are going down. We're brokers, right? We're insurance agents with a lot of companies, which makes us brokers. And we write with a lot of the companies you've heard of. We write with Travelers, Nationwide, right? Mercury Insurance, all those large name companies. The only ones that we don't represent are like the companies like State Farm,
AAA, MERS.
That's it. But we got everybody else, right? So the whole point is that for us as independent agents, allegiance is to you and your clients, right? Because when you only have one product to sell, you're going to do your damn to sell that one thing. And from our perspective, we're like, no, we're not about that. We're about the client trying to find the best deal, right? And it doesn't matter if it's owner occupied, if it's a landlord, short-term rental, long-term rental. Maybe you have a client who's buying a home that's going to fix and flip it. We do all that type of
Ground
stuff.
up construction,
Ground up
commercial properties, residential.
All that jazz, right? So at the end of the day, we're here about just trying to find the best deal for you guys, shop around and get you guys set up. And the biggest reason why we get referred to a lot. How many of you have heard of Goosehead Insurance before? Anyone heard of Goosehead Insurance? Love being the introduction to the brand. So the point is that we she's like, who's this man? The problem, let's say like, well, let me ask you all a question. How many of you, when you all were growing up as real estate professionals, how many of you knew that you wanted to be real estate agents when you grew up? Right? I was a cinema, television arts major, and you can see how well that worked out. I've been an insurance broker for 10 years. All right. So point is that we're here to have fun with you guys. And that's the same way that when we're working with our clients on the phone, we're the same way, right? Because like, we're not that Jake from State Farm with those khakis, though I know we look like CPAs to the way that we're dressed today. I was like, but it's all respect out of y'all. So, so the whole point is this. I'm going to transition back to Annie, and we're going to show you, and this is part of the reason why a lot of successful real estate agents, when they get into contract, and a lot of questions we get is this: Nick, we're thinking about making an offer on a property, right? How many times you've been through this situation, right? We're thinking about making an offer on a property, and we're trying to ballpark what the premium is going to be. Can you give us a quote, right? Well, we're going to show you a link that you all have. It's really easy to remember. It's beginwithannie.com. And it's on her card. And Natalie in the back right there is actually going to show you how easy it is, because it only takes just a few minutes, like literally 2 minutes, and you're answering very basic information. And I'm going to give it to Annie, and she's going to walk you through. Oh, she already did it. She already did the whole thing. Natalie, can you go back to begin with Annie? Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
So
Okay,
I'm gonna give it back to Annie, and you're gonna close out. We're just gonna walk you through when you want to get a home quote or an auto quote or anything like that from us. It's just literally just punching it in. Takes 2 minutes, and you can fill it out on behalf of your clients. Or if you want to get out of the middle and you just want to say, hey, here's the link. Just go here. I've met these folks. I know they're great because they came to my office. Give them a go, right? Then they'll come right here, and you'll see. Natalie's going to show you with Annie how easy it is to kind of get that process started, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll let you ladies go from here. Thank you.
So it's very simple. As soon as you get to beginwithannie.com, it takes you to the screen. If they're purchasing a home, you would be clicking I own or am purchasing a home, and then go ahead and start the quote. So purchasing new home, yes, it's very general information. So it's going to ask for the property address. Perfect. Thank you. So just put a random address. We always ask for the their current address, because they need to have that in order to run the quote. A lot of the carriers need to see their previous previous history. And then it's just going to ask for general information for the client. Property address the property details is normally automatically filled out. And that's just pulled from public records like Zillow, Redfin. And if there's anything that needs to be updated, I'll be able to see it on my end, and I can pull that information and update it. Then go next. So this is where it's just going to ask for general information for the buyers. Perfect.
Natalie's being so detailed. We know she was divorced.
Right. I thought she'd say widowed. I was like, I'm sorry. Sorry, honey. I was about to be like, listen, I was like, we'll have a separate chat later, you know?
Great.
And Annie, can I jump in real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna jump in real fast. See how easy that was, right? Literally took 2 minutes. Now, what's crazy is there's 2 versions of that website. The first one shows y'all a whole bunch of quotes, right? The second version is where it doesn't. It just shows you that, because then we see all the quotes. And the reason why we do it this way is because on our backside, we have about 20 different, like, you know, when you're doing Google Flights or you're shopping for like kind of stuff, like we're going to have 20 different insurance quotes lined up on the back end. That's going to literally be processing on the back end. So, and the thing is that we're going to know no matter what it is, it don't matter if it's your single family, 1,200 starter home or a 5,000 square foot mansion, we're going to be able to figure all that stuff out on the back end. But the whole point is that at this point now, Annie's going to get an email into her CRM, which is Salesforce. That's what we use on the back end. And we're going to be able to shop through and find the best deal literally in minutes. And so this is a really great resource for y'all to use and just to keep. And every one of our sales agents has their own vanity link. Begin with Annie, begin with Natalie, right? We just kind of do it that way. because I'm not going to be like goosehead.com/ref/12345. Like, what I mean, like, so we make it easier for y'all to remember that. And the idea here is that we're just trying to make y'all's life a little bit easier and the client's life easier to try and find the best insurance deal. And that's kind of that. So, Annie, if you want to close it out, you're welcome to.
Well, this is it, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
That's it. So
Here we
thank you.
go.
I appreciate you.
Do you guys have any questions so for us? Any questions? Rentals? Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
rentals.
like landlord? Yeah. We do short-term rental, long-term rental, rental condos, like literally. And the rental market right now for landlords, we have so much product, so many different carriers.
Okay.
And even stuff in high fire areas, because like that's really where like we shine on easy stuff, we shine on harder stuff too.
Right.
So like if you have, can you talk
We have
about a
an
time like
exclusive carrier that's particularly just with Goosehead that does a lot of high fire property. At first, they were just doing owner occupied and they just started offering rental as well. So we do have a lot of options for you guys. It's very rare when we have to say we can't insure something. So definitely we'll take it off your guys' plate. We know you guys have so much to do. You guys don't have to worry about it. Just hand us over your clients and we'll take care of them for you.
So one question. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Steve. How often are the insurance carriers for new policies requiring inspections?
You want to take
Oh,
that?
that's a great, I mean, you're always going to have an inspection nowadays. It's very rare when insurance carriers are not doing inspections.
Wasn't that long?
It was not, yeah. Yeah.
That rarely ever happened, right? So like in short, the odds of an inspection happening after buying, and folks are like, well, why don't they inspect beforehand? Why are we doing this later and then finding problems out after we've already closed?
Mhm.
Well, the reality is that there's no way on this planet for all the insurance to be done during the it has to close, right? And then the insurance company will come out. Now, look, we're gonna hit you. If you could leave away with 2 tips of things that you should make sure that doesn't matter if you're on the buying or selling side to keep an eye out for is number 1 is like, how does the roof look, right? Because like that's the first thing when you walk up to a house for an insurance, you got to think about from an insurance perspective, right? If someone goes, oh, it's a shingle roof, it's 25 years old, it's in good condition. Yeah, right. It doesn't work like that, right? Y'all need to know that a shingle roof what's the lifespan of a shingle roof on average?
5 years, 25 to 30.
See, but the insurance company, 15. Insurance companies are going to disagree with like that. And here's the thing, and that's the problem because the roofers may say this thing is good for 25 years, right? The insurance company like, well, we beg to differ because we have insurance claims showing that roof failed at 15. Right. And so it's one of those things where we might, if a shingle roof is like older than 15 or 20, it's like, look, if it's in good shape, we might be able to get it passed, but don't be surprised if something like that. The other one, which is also most common for homes that are a little bit older, like 1960 or older, is what? What is it? Close. It's on the back of the house. Which a power box, which is also a
Electrical
panel.
Yeah.
Electrical panel. Yes, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
And what was your name? Aaron?
Yes,
Great job, Aaron. I like the studs there, bro. So electrical panels, right? The electrical panels, if they're made by Zinsco, Federal Electric, Federal Pacific, if you know those names, anything with Federal or Zinsco, just if you're on the listing side, the conversation you need to have with your client is you have a very old, outdated electrical panel. That's AKA deferred maintenance. So here's what we're going to do. We're either going to just accept the fact that the buyer's agent's going to require a $3,000 credit to fix the panel, or you just do that now so we don't have to have that problem later, right? So it's just something that, and that's a fire safety thing. That's not insurance being picky. The reason why those panels are bad across the board is because they short circuit, they create fires, they burn houses down. And that is true. And those companies got sued so much, they went out of business, y'all. Right? So it's important to know that those are the biggest 2 things to take away. But as far as inspections are concerned, that's the thing. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is this. How would you position someone if they're like, hey, we're going to buy this house, but we're going to renovate for about 3 months or 4 months, and then we're going to move in? How do you handle that type of situation?
So Obviously, we need to make sure that they're getting the proper amount of coverage, and we can be creative. We'll do the renovation policy, and then we can just rewrite them into a homeowner's policy after that. But if they do need it to close, like we can definitely make sure that we get the proper documentation to show that it's an owner occupied policy in order to not have any issues for closing. But we just ultimately we want to make sure that the client is well taken care of and properly insured, so there's not any issues on their end if something was to happen during that time.
Happened yesterday. A client calls me and I look at the photos on Redfin or Zillow, and you can clearly see a fixer-upper, like a home that hasn't been touched in 30 years, right? And I was like, so how much renovation are you going to do? And they're like, oh, we're just going to paint. I'm like, lie. There's no way, right? So the thing is, a lot of times what we say is this: look, when you have someone who's buying a house and then they're going to renovate through 3-4 months, and that 3-4 months could be 6-7 months, because they're waiting on materials, they're waiting on labor. There's a lot of other things that can come up, right? So what we do is we'll write them like a vacant renovation policy on the back end. We'll still give the lender something that looks like home insurance, okay? So we're gonna placate the lender and we're gonna take care of your client correctly. And then once they move into the house and they've done all the work, then we switch it to home insurance. Does that make sense? Because when they do the inspection after close, and then they see that the home is vacant under renovation, and then your client gets a letter saying notice of cancellation. They're like, why am I being canceled, Nick? Well, it's like, well, because you're renovating. Well, what does that matter? Well, that's my house. It's like, yeah, but see, insurance cares about occupancy. Occupancy determines risk. Risk equals rate, and that's a whole thing, right? So we just want to know like who is living where. So if you're not going to be like, if it's 30 days or less, we'll write that home insurance. We'll be all right. But if you have someone, and when I see something where I'm like, I see purple carpet, I see a kitchen that hasn't been touched in 30 years, you're not going to likely finish all that in 30 days. Let's just be straight, right? So we try to make sure that we can write you guys stuff that's going to take care of the client, but this is our specialty. This is what we do. So we're good at this. And so and Annie's great at that, knowing how to structure the insurance so that if you're doing it, you're protecting the client so that they can renovate without being stressed out about a cancellation notice. Does that make sense? Okay. That's it.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you guys so much.
Can I just read your mic?
Oh, this is so dope.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you guys do have any properties that are out of state, by any chance, we do have, even though we might not be able to write it, we have agents that we work with that run. Okay.
Now, one of my questions, do you also cover like for rentals? If the tenant fails to make the rent, do you have insurance for that too?
Lots of these.
Loss of income or loss of rental? No, like let's say the tenant stops making rent. Do you guys have insurance that covers at least so many months of rental income?
I'm sure, I mean, there might be like an endorsement for something like that, but I don't believe there's a product being developed for that. What you're asking for.
Yeah.
If a tenant is default on rent,
Yeah,
there's, I actually have some friends that are developing that exact product.
okay.
So it's not really out there per se.
Well, the reason I say that is because the insurance that I currently have on one of my rentals does have that as part of the package
I'd
deal.
love to review it.
Yes,
See it.
absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause if
I'll
that's
connect
something
with you
we-
guys. Beautiful.
Yes.
Awesome. Again, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. Yeah. You sure with me, not with your brother over there?
Hey, please come up here.
Come on up here. Let's give Jesus a round of applause here.
In case you didn't know we do that. Just in case you didn't know. Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. All right, let's continue. All right, next, we wanted to, is Nina? There she is. Nina, we wanted to wish Nina a happy birthday. So come on up here. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Nina.
Happy birthday to you.
you.
And many more. Blow the candle. Woo. Awesome. Happy birthday. Let's take a photo. Chrissy, let's take a photo real quick. By the way, her birthday is officially on Sunday, but we wanted to do it now because we're not going to see her on Sunday. Awesome.
Cake, okay?
Shit it. Thanks.
I'm gonna go cut this and offer you guys cake.
Awesome. All right. So we also, as a company, we're now in partnership with Luxury Sellers Concierge, powered by House Amp. Many of you who were here last week, we had the spokesman for the company talking about it. We're going to have a webinar Monday, April 27 at 2 p.m. If you're interested to kind of understand the ins and outs and how this is going to benefit you to get more listings and help your clients with renovations on the property at no upfront cost to your clients. So if you're interested, please jump on that Zoom link and get registered for it. Okay, some of the things that we're going to talk about: create your account, check your address, invite your clients to it. It's a really cool platform, and this is something that Compass was utilizing as well at a very high level, and this is now part of the Keller Williams. All right, let's continue. All right, listing pitches, buyers, needs and wants. No one. Okay. All right, Nat, let's continue. Next slide. All right, let me get my wonderful panelists up here real quick. Jesus, Katrina, and Joe McMahon. Let's give them a round of applause. I am so excited about this. I've been waiting for this.
But some of his.
Well, you guys are on the hot seat. Awesome. All right. Everyone familiar with these amazing agents here? Yes, yes, yes. So thank you again for helping spearhead this. So I wanted to dive deep because a lot of the questions that I'm receiving is gaps between buyers and agents right now. So I wanted to throw a couple of things at you. What is your position on how pre-consultations look like? Do you go through the motion? So I'll open it up to each and every one of you to kind of talk about it. So what does that look like, your pre-consultation? How do you get the opportunity to get someone in front of you to go over the motions of what a buyer consultation looks like?
Well, I'll start. I guess it depends upon where it comes from, right?
Yeah.
So if it's from my sphere, and I already have an existing relationship, it's very easy to ask for an opportunity to sit down with them and walk through the process and let them know what's going on. If it's from an open house, that's a different thing. Or if it's an online lead, there's kind of a minor qualifying thing that I do from those two. I'll show them a property, meet them, talk to them about it, and kind of do that consultation while we're doing the showing. And then I set a limit. It's like I'll talk to them about the fact that I need a buyer broker agreement, and talk to them about the fact that they're committing to paying me. Because I'm not a charity. And then set a hard limit on that sort of thing if I don't have the signature.
Love that. Love that. Kat, your
I'm sorry.
perspective?
The perspective of getting them to,
Yeah. How does your ultimate position of filling that gap between when you talk to someone for the very first time and ultimately getting them to win them over to go through the initial process of what that looks like a buyer consultation?
yeah. So I've been having the buyer broker agreement signed since probably the second year I was in real estate. I got burned once and that was it. If you were gonna, so 20 years later, right? If you are gonna work with me and I'm gonna work with you, it's absolutely mandatory. So this law being changed didn't really hurt our company. It actually just made it, solidified we were doing the right thing. So having had that experience and those amount of years of actually getting it signed, if they come to me like said, and they're part of my sphere, it's a different situation. Obviously, it's a little bit easier. But say if they don't come from, say if they come from a an advertisement on Zillow or something from a website and they come to me and they call me. People want to work with you if they like and they trust you. So you've got a few minutes to have that elevator speech with them in order to gain their trust and get them to like you. Because you got to understand there's thousands of people who want your job, who want that client. And that client knows that. So what I do is I set the expectations right in front. I got 1 minute to get them to like and trust me. There's certain ways that I'm going to talk to them and handle them in order to want to sneak that in. Now, one thing that I do say when I do present the buyer broker agreement, no matter where it is, to a person just coming off the street or someone who's followed me for years and just barely raising their hand, one thing that I present to them is saying, have you heard of the new NAR lawsuit? Yes, I've heard about something. Okay, well, this is something we've done all along for years. So this is nothing new to us, but it might be new to you. Let me explain a little bit about what it means. And the key words that I use, write this down. Look, I'm not gonna come up here and tell you nothing. If I'm gonna get out of bed and not be out I'm going to tell you the real deal. One of the key words that I use in order for them to sign the buyer broker agreement and be on board is say, I'm sending this to you. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it kind of spells out, but it gives me the authority to officially start working on your behalf. If I don't have it signed, I can't do anything. I can't advise you anymore. I can't show you property, and I'm not going to answer your text message. So yeah, I don't see the last part, but you get what I'm saying. But this is what I need, and I need you on board, and this says that you're on board with me, I'm on board with you. So this gives me the authority, is the words I use, to begin to continue to work on your behalf. Yeah.
Love that, love that. It's important because if I was to hire any of you, I know that you definitely have the understanding, the insurance and the skills necessary to really bring me a qualified buyer, right? So, and I'll throw it at you, Jesus, just because you and I have that experience too on, you do amazing open houses too as well. But what I like about Jose's style is he's very consistent and very persistent for asking for the opportunity. So share what that looks like for the audience.
Yeah, I guess like for me, so starting out in real estate, I was really, I didn't have a lot of time to really do real estate because I had like a full-time job. I was working like 60 hours a week. So I pretty much came down to like, the one thing that I could really do to like get my business off the ground, and that was like open houses. So open houses taught me how to talk to like buyers, sellers, but open houses, a majority like buyers, right? So a lot of the conversations would be, like what kind of homes they want to buy and what areas they want to move to and things like that. And I really got good at starting to like listen, right? Because you have 2 ears and like 1 mouth, right? So it's really important to like listen to like what they want to do and come up with solutions for that. So I feel like if you want to connect with someone, you really have to like listen first, because sometimes you get caught up in like, let me set the appointment. This is me, right? But it's really about them, right? So if you can focus on them, you can set the appointment pretty easily, right? But I don't normally make them like sign like a contract like before like the presentation. Like in fact, like I'm like, all right, well, like if you want to work with me, like let me connect with my lender, right? So once we have the appointment set, I like to get them like started in the process of getting pre-approved, right? And maybe they're not ready yet, but like at least like, let's get like the wheels turning, right? So at least like once we get in there, we could have like a real conversation, right? Because I don't want you to come in there and say, oh, I don't have any money in the bank and like I don't have a job. And like it's like, okay, well, this is great, like when are you gonna have a job, right? So, right? You know what I mean? So like I like to make sure we're prepared before the meeting, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if I answered your question, but
No, that's
yeah.
great. I mean, it's really setting the expectations. And I think all of you have that understanding of setting the expectations, right? Because we don't want to waste time.
Oh yeah.
But we also have to be able to filter that out, right? Asking the right questions. And this is why I think it's vital and important for all of us to understand asking the right questions will get you closer to their motivation. Because you got to see what their motivation is. As Jesus was saying, is, let's go through the motions of getting you pre-qualified, right? Because if they're in it to take it to basically to the end, right? It's their commitment that they're truly wanting to purchase a home. So love that. So
Your comment about wasting time.
Yeah.
Why waste their time, right? It's like, if you're not in a position to do this, you need to come up with a plan to get into that position. And that's the value that we can add in educating them about what the next step is if they can't move today.
yeah. I like what Katrina said earlier too, that, you know, then she started her real estate career right after getting burned. You know, she is dedicated and devoted that in order for her to work with the buyer, she will have a buyer agreement in place. Now, back then it was a lot looser than what it is now. Now it's stringent that it's a requirement, right? Because remember, everything that happened in 2024 with the commission being removed from the MLS, the listing agreement not having cooperating compensation anymore, right? Now we have to have the buyer understand the elements of those agreements that they are responsible for paying us to work with them, right? So now it's kind of the table, and a lot of agents, unfortunately, were kind of lost during that time. And if you understood the contract, there's languages that states in there that if anyone other than you pay me, then it credits the buyer's obligation to pay, right? So tell us a little bit of what that looks like in your opinion when you sit with a buyer and you're going through the motions of that buyer representation agreement. You know, it's open mic, whatever you want to share with us.
I'll start. So I have a background as a ABA paralegal, and I did that before I got into real estate. So I'm heavy on contracts. I know how to write contracts. I know how to interpret contracts to a fault. So that's one of the reasons why I incorporated it into my business from like the beginning, right? In regards to the commission and the payment, it is scary for a buyer to see that you are obligating them to pay for your commission. Now, one word I think is very dirty in our industry is actually the word commission. I do not appreciate that word. And the reason why is because it has such a fog over it. Oh, raise your hand if anybody in your family said, oh, I read on Chat GPT, I could do this, or I referred somebody, I deserve a commission. Have you ever heard somebody say they deserve a commission? That raise your hand, instead of like, put your hand up, right? So we hear that all the time, like, oh, I referred somebody to you. So I try to not omit the word commission, but it is our fee. Attorneys are paid a retainer fee. Doctors are paid a fee. Why are we paid a commission for doing our jobs, right? So one thing when I do speak with my buyers, I try to omit the words commission for it's my fee, and it's my fee for doing these things for you that are listed on the buyer broker agreement, including my fiduciary duty to you, my duty to loyalty, my duty to find you the right place and act in your best interest. I am earning my pay. And when you put it that way with the buyer, it's a little bit different. It's like, oh, just like I get paid, she wants to get paid. So I set that expectation up front immediately. Secondly, I go to now. Normally, what happens is when you purchase a house and you send your funds over to the lender and it pays for the house and you close escrow, some of those funds are distributed. And one of the people that gets a distribution is my brokerage. And that is how our fees are essentially paid. Now, of course, there's certain things that can happen and we can get paid by different sources. But this buyer broker agreement says, if you're not paying the fee, well, we'll go to the seller for the fee in order to be paid. So once you start to kind of just say it that way, frame it that way, the buyer starts to understand what you bring to the table, right? That you were a professional working on your behalf, not just collecting some commission for introducing you to a house that they saw on Zillow, too, right? And then third, that now it sets the relationship and the tone. We are working in a professional relationship. This is a legal transaction, and I am being paid for representing you. And it's not just showing you the house and opening the doors and the refrigerator. It's explaining these things to you. So once you start to set the tone and move it away from the words that have clouded us in the last few years, and you start to get them to understand, now we're working professional, right? Not just, I'm kind of looking for a home and you seem like a cool realtor. We're working professional. So that's how I introduce the fee, right? My payment, because I get paid what before it closes? Not a damn thing. I do first. Okay, so that's how I put it.
Love that. So, anything you want to share, Jesus, on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like it's really coming like with the value. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what we do. And especially if you're looking into like ChatGPT and things like that, they're like, oh, it's easy to buy a house. Yeah, you just write an offer, right? It's like, okay, well, what about inspections and what about like zoning and what about having like contractors in there? I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and if they don't have that guidance, right? I mean, they could either buy a property that maybe has like some issues, right? So maybe the property has like some zoning issues. Maybe there's like some disputes like with the zoning, right? And they decided to go with the listing agent. The listing agent didn't want to disclose that because they just wanted to get the double commission, right? You need someone who's going to fight for you and has the experience to guide you through all of the highs and lows of what can happen with real estate, right? So I feel like that's a big part of it. There was something else I was thinking about saying, but I forgot. So you can get back to me, Jeff.
This question, what if someone is hesitant to sign that buyer agreement? What's your objection? How do you handle that conversation? It says, I don't feel comfortable signing this agreement.
Well, I guess you have to build your value, right? You have to have a strong value statement, like you said, all those things. But the first thing is being able to write an offer that will be accepted, right? Particularly if there's multiple offers and you're going through that process. So I think that's part of it. And just digging deep on that and say, so what is your hesitation? Why don't you? Because I mean, they can cancel it at any time. But I will get paid on any homes that I've shown them. So that's a key thing. And if people are really like hesitant, maybe they're not ready to buy a house. And I've had people like wouldn't even sign in at an open house, right? And then call me a couple weeks later and say, hey, I'd like you to show me some houses. And then go through this long process of showing them properties that match up perfectly and have to have that conversation of, do you want to buy a house? And, it took a while and it ultimately happened. But, those are experiences that we have and having to work with that interaction with people.
I think what it boils down to is your value proposition, right? What value did you provide that ultimately told them, yes, I'm ready to sign, or I'm not 100% confident yet that this is the direction I want to go. And you got to be perfectly fine with either way, right? Because sometimes it may not be a good fit to be working with these buyers, right? But I think the narrative is you've got to take initiative and control and ultimately navigate that. Because once the buyer controls it, game over. Okay, they're going to tell you, take you, waste your time. Set the expectations like these three do. Set the expectations exactly. This is the initial process from the beginning through and then at the very end. And I promise you, they're going to feel at ease. Right. And now with technology, now with AI, it definitely redefines of what that looks like. So it makes it even easier for you to understand every element of it, right? Obviously, you got to boil it what the contract says, right? Because the buyer representation agreement has a lot of language in there. The do's, the don'ts, the responsibilities, what happens if they decide to cancel? What happens if you didn't put a specific city or county, right? There's specific language in there. So arm yourself to protect yourself, because I know I deal with these all the time. Right now, I am working with an agent from the Long Beach office that the buyer signed an exclusive agreement And the buyer ended up buying the property that she showed with another agent. Yeah, crazy, right? So she found out, she got all of the information, and right now in negotiations where the buyer is in a position that we're looking at almost a $30,000 commission.
Wow.
So if we didn't have a proper language in there and the right forms, it would be a lot harder for us to try to push for compensation, right? Because the goal is, I understand how hard all of you work. But the essence, if you don't have a strong documentation and an understanding, it's going to be a weak case for us to go after compensation.
So,
my opinion.
Well, I think
Go ahead.
Well, I think there's one. I just remember what I was going to say, but I think probably one of like the biggest things that like one of the biggest concerns a lot of buyers have is like, am I paying all of that out of pocket, right? And especially if you're dealing with a buyer who like already is like razor thin, barely getting pre-approved, barely have enough for closing costs, so they need closing cost assistance. One of the things that's reassuring is just explaining the market, right? Like sellers are willing to assist with concessions, right? Obviously, depending on the offer. So that obviously that'll make them feel a little better, right? I mean, if they see something like, wait, I have to pay like 20,000 or 15,000, barely have enough to close, right? Like this is my life savings here, right? So I think that's one of the ways that I've also kind of helped smooth the conversation a little bit.
Final thoughts before we wrap it up. Anything that you'd like to share in how we're working with buyers?
Joe?
I would say that if you are new to real estate since this change in commission structure has happened, you're very fortunate because it was a tough transition for us. Like first couple of times I went through it, it's like, oh my God, I have to tell them that I have to get paid. And now it's just accepted. And I negotiate on the behalf of my clients. You do that as well to get myself paid. The other thing is, you mentioned being burned earlier. Early in my career, I wasted a bunch of money on buyer leads through a certain service that may start with Z. And I would get to a showing and I would ask them, so are you working with a realtor? And I'd get like, yeah, 6. It's like, okay. And that's how I learned to like on the fly get something signed for that specific house. And, sometimes it's that brutal. But if you develop rapport and trust, you'll do great.
Awesome. Kat? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Yeah, I mean, just keep in mind that the buyer is a human now. And,
Well, it depends. If you're Fred, we don't know that. I had to throw it out.
And so, they are going to do their research prior to reaching out to you, whether it's a lot of research, whether it's just a quick Google search in the car. They're going to look at something to compare what you're going to say to them to make sure it lines up. And when I do open houses, one of the things that I remember and then I keep top of mind is, say I'm having an open house and it's for my listing and there's 3 other people in the area having that same open house. And they're comparables, right? They're comparable. So 9 times out of 10, that buyer went from house A to house B to house C to house D. Keep in mind that they've seen realtor A, realtor B, realtor C, not just the house, but that realtor. And you've gone into open houses before, right? You've seen the realtors who's like, oh, come on, you've seen that, or in your face with the buyer broker agreement, and you can't come in until, so you've seen the gamut of what they saw that. And when they walk into your open house, this is where their mindset is. They're probably a little standoffish, or maybe they want to engage. What I typically do when I do my open houses, invite them in, tell them my name, shake their hand, greet them, make sure. Don't tell them anything they don't know. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. They know this already. I tell them they're selling because they're looking to get out because great area, because take a look through, come back to me. Let's have a conversation with it. And all of a sudden the shoulders go down, the ease is kind of washes over them, and they can actually go through the house. It's okay. She's not pushy like the other one. She's a tentative, unlike, they, and then they'll come back to you and then you say, ask me some questions about the house, A, the market, B, financing, C. Not just 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a pool. You got my ear, spend it. Oh, now she's a wealth of information. So let me ask you a quick question. Sometimes they walk away and say, oh yeah, I'll think about it, but they will come right back because if they hear you talking to somebody else, or if they have a quick question, they'll come back and say, so you think there's going to be a crash? That's, and then you go through and you show them your knowledge, you demonstrate value. So I'm doing all this before putting in an agreement in front of them, telling them to sign. And normally after hearing a wealth of information, knowing that she probably knows more than the person that's doing the open houses at the other houses, they'll ask for your card. Hey, do you mind if I get your business card? Which I don't put on the table because that's just an opportunity for them to go for. No, I go, let me get a card for you because I'm different than A, B, and C. I'm not doing this. Give me your number. I'll put it in. And now we're doing something different. And then they walk away with a different feeling than they got, right? She's knowledgeable. She knows the market. We're not going to have a crash. Rates are going up or down. Let me give her a call. So I would say this, when you're working with buyers, frame everything different. Throw out what you knew or what you read before. Treat that buyer as a person or, our robot overlords at some point, right? Treat them as a person coming in. Thank you for getting that joke. Treat them as a person, understand what they've probably been through already, understand their wealth of knowledge or lack thereof, and then tailor your conversation, your communication, your structure, and everything else to them. That's how you get buyers looking for your card, 3 years later, rather than them going to so and so and so and so and so and so, right?
Awesome.
A little different.
Last thought, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of second that. Like you do want to be different. You want to make an impression. You want to be able to connect. I think one of the ways, I'll really do this, I'll really study the market before my open houses. So I'll know intimately what all the actives are, all the pendings, all the homes that recently sold around the area. So sometimes, some of the buyers will say, hey, can we go see X property after the open house? You're available if we connect, right? Obviously, I'll try to say, hey, well, let's slow your roll, right? Let's at least see if we could work good together. But if you have that intimate knowledge of the market and what they're looking for, they're going to want to work exclusively with you.
Round of applause for these 3 amazing residents. For taking time to giving us some valuable information.
Thanks, guys.
This valuable stuff. Yeah, and I think it's basic stuff that, but it shows you 3 different perspectives of what they do differently, right? I love it. So thank you again for doing this.
Thanks, guys.
Before I go, I just want to acknowledge a very special friend of mine who's come to support us. Hello, thank you. I just want to acknowledge a special friend of mine who's come to our office, also holds a real estate license for the state of California. And I just wanted to introduce and acknowledge Katrina Manning. She is the council person for the city of Hawthorne. Katrina, why don't you give up? And Katrina Manning was also mayor pro tem for the city of Hawthorne. Hawthorne is where our space industry in our South Bay is really growing. Manhattan Beach, if you lived in the South Bay for a long time, was the leader in our South Bay. And now Hawthorne with SpaceX and the Tesla Design Center has really, really shown up. They're a really great city. They've got great infrastructure, a lot of good changes. So we're very happy to have Katrina Manning here today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kat. All right, rapid fire. Let's continue. Next slide. All right, Fernando. Let's give Fernando Diaz a round of applause, please.
I'm short on goodies, but we do have some. We're gonna give some away to you guys. So real quick, guys, rates are holding steady.
Just for the people.
Rates are holding steady. A little bit of a bump up, I would say, maybe yesterday and today. Nothing to fear. Obviously, Kevin Warsh had his hearing on Tuesday, the new Fed chief, so he's in. That's obviously, we already know that. And then secondly, obviously, Middle East unrest is sort of keeping things all over the place. So the good news is that as of right now, anyway, I think the bond market's very favorable to keeping rates kind of where they're at, I hope. Because honestly, they could accelerate away at any time, just depending on what's going on with energy and oil and the Strait of Hormuz and all that stuff. So we'll leave that at that. Now, real quick, that your colleagues just stated, and I'm going to give away some goodies. Let me get my glasses on, see what it'll do. And that it is important to know this information that they were talking about, because what is your number one responsibility with buyers and also sellers? But let's just talk about buyers and stuff they were focused. What do you think is your number one thing that you need to do for your clients?
Solve the problem.
Close the deal before the
No.
divorce.
No, what was that, Jim?
Close the deal before the divorce.
Well, maybe in some cases, no. The number one thing you guys have to bring is confidence. Confidence to them. Am I doing the right thing, Simon? Should I buy this house?
Right.
Is it the right time for me to do it? You know how you get confidence? Knowledge. Remember when Manny had all the slides here a couple of weeks ago, going over all the trend lines and every year and et cetera, all that stuff? That's giving your client confidence. Let's look at history. Let's look at the area. Let's look at what's going on. Let's look at rates. You know, guess what? If you buy today at 6.25, don't fear it. You know why? Because look at the NBA's report, their forecast coming up. Look at Fannie Mae's report, their forecast coming up. The odds are rates are going to go lower. So you're going to have a chance to basically lower your cost of living down the road. So don't panic, et cetera, et cetera. That's confidence, right? Giving your client confidence in the decisions that they're making. So that's why this stuff is important. Now, to earn some candy. And for the record, let's see here. Don't feel bad about the candy, because if you're coming tomorrow, you're going to work it off. What you're working at. No, it's
That's tomorrow.
you can do it. You can go there Saturday. We won't be there, but you can go. So real quickly, guys, the new median home price report came out for March. And it was surprising. It's pretty good. What do you think the new median home price in the state of California is?
850, 900.
900.
Who said 900? Okay, there's two of you. You have to split this bar because I'm very low on them. So you guys have to cut this in half.
There you go.
And deal with that. It is
No.
889 190. Okay, sales are way down. Okay, at least for the month of March. But I think that's changing. Coming up in April, you're going to see a change. A lot of it had to do with the dip in rates that we had prior before the war broke out. But I think that's going to change. Now, let's talk about our local markets. There's some interesting stuff happening in our local markets that I think that you should know about. So let's see here. So remember, on the state level, sales are way down. Okay, but let's look at our local market. Real quickly here, what do you think the median home price in Los Angeles County, right here where we're standing, is in March?
875.
No.
725.
Nope.
900 again?
1.5.
Oh no, you're in Orange County. You're right over there. You're in Orange County. Right. This is something I'm going to give you some information that'll help you with your clients. At the highest peak in the last 5 years, Los Angeles County hit 930,000 as the median home price in our area, Los Angeles County. Okay, that was the peak. That was the highest ever. Okay, so now this is something for your clients in terms of better positioning and where we're at. Come on, guys, give me a number, quick. Who said 830? Done. Here you go. I'm not gonna throw you here, but 828, 300. Okay, guys. But here's what's going on. The month before it was 842. So if you look at the last, I would say this year, Los Angeles County, there you go, is trending down. Okay, actually one of the only few counties locally that is doing that. Right, so that's very interesting. Okay, right now you're getting better deals, better opportunities out there than you ever were before. Okay, because I'd rather pay 828 than 930 for that same house. Right? Would you? So that's something to.
Fernando, why don't we pivot and let's talk about tomorrow's event,
Okay,
because
well,
I think tomorrow is
pretty
important.
Fun. All right,
Yeah,
guys, real
yeah.
quick. We have about, I don't know, I think Stephanie told me 23 RSVPs, so with a big number, guys, coming
Yeah.
up. So it's going to be a good one. Tomorrow, guys, be there at 12 noon. It's right on PCH. Well, you could go PCH and 190th. If you go to towards the water, it's Hondo. It's still 190th, whatever.
It's called Body One.
Body One Fitness. Be there at 12 o'clock sharp. So we're not, we can get started right away. The workout is only going to be about 45 minutes. I've been given some clues of what he's
Only
going to do.
45 minutes, but be
I've been
ready.
given some clues. So we're going to do a tribute to March Madness. So there will be something for everybody. I don't care if you're, a superstar athlete or not, or never worked out in your life. For example, for 1 point, a free throw, it's going to be something nice and easy, right? For 2 points, it's going to be something medium. And for 3 points, obviously, it'll be something more challenging. So we'll be broken into teams, let's say of 7 or 8 of us, 3 teams. And then whoever gets the most points wins based on whatever everybody does. Okay. Immediately after, though, guys, we're going right to the pier. I checked the weather. It's going to be approximately 73 degrees when we get there and sunny. That's what they're saying right now. So we're going to have beautiful weather. It is right there on the Redondo Beach Pier. By car, probably 3 minutes away, 3.5 minutes, right there. So be there, guys. Be there. Don't feel bad about that cake. If you're going to go, you'll be fine. Burn it off. And also, don't feel bad about the smash burgers, tacos, beer, wine, soda, whatever.
Make sure to stretch.
Whatever you want. Yeah, stretch too, please. Have a good breakfast. Something that's because you guys, it's going to be fun. Trust me. And it's not. I mean, we're not going to kill anybody. Trust me. We have almost killed some people, but yeah.
There was one I remember.
The defibrillator was there. I got the defibrillator standing by just in case. But no, you have a good time. So we'll pick Creek County, and we'll see. But that's it. There.
Awesome. All right, let's give Fernando a round of applause. Thank you so much, Fernando. Appreciate it. All right, rapid fire. Let's continue. Broker class this Friday, April 24, 10:30. We'll be talking about requests and repairs, where most deals fall apart. This is where I believe the deals ultimately continue or ultimately get canceled. So we're going to dive deep into that conversation on Friday. Next slide. Okay. All right. So pancake breakfast next Tuesday, April 28, 10 a.m. to 11 o'clock. So please, if you want some pancakes, we're going to have some for you here at the office next week. Okay. Next slide. Home Guard will be having a lunch and learn on Wednesday, April 29th, the following day after eating pancakes. They're going to be providing you with training on termites. Next slide. And then don't forget, it's just a friendly reminder, our Cinco de Mayo event will be on Cinco de Mayo from 4:30 to 6:30 here at the office. And that concludes our team meeting. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. We survived.